Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing the Patek Philippe Nautilus Moon Phase, which is also a date and a power reserve. This is reference 5712 1A-001. 40 millimeters in stainless steel. The timepiece measures 8.8 millimeters thick, two ways to measure it across the wrist. There's the lug-to-lug of the case, which is 44.2 millimeters, and then there's 48.7 end-link to end-link across the wrist. The timepiece is fairly easy to wear on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, and you'll find that on my wrist, 16 centimeters circumference, it wears quite well. I wouldn't advise the Nautilus chronograph, travel time chronograph, or annual calendar for smaller wrist or unisex options, but with the 5711 and the 5712, I definitely do make that recommendation. It is a very flat watch, and the timepiece will easily slide underneath the dress cuff. It's broad, it's flat, it's comfortable, and it's not excessively stiff across the wrist. You can pull that bracelet down and get a pretty close spacing from side to side and a good fit on a small forearm. Taking a look at the bracelets, part of what you pay for when you get a Nautilus. Yes, you can get them on straps, but the original in 1976 was envisioned as essentially jewelry or a bracelet with a timepiece attached, and designer Gerald Genta considered himself a jewelry designer first and foremost. So we have this lovely integrated tapered bracelet. You can see the shoulder polish of the case continues along the shoulders of the individual links. We have satination on the flanks, we have satination on the primaries, then we have polish on the intermediates down the center. You can see that this is of the later, post-2012 generation of Nautilus bracelets with pin sleeves for sizing. You will need a block and punch to size this at home. Fairly easy to do. Just remember to call ahead to Jules Borel or whoever is your watch tool supplier and order a block and punch for sizing pin sleeves. Now you see there's a clamshell lock, a double deployant clasp, and then if you look inside, some materials innovations as Patek has kept up with the times, as we have ceramic pin snaps built into the clasp so that the clamshell will never wear down the pin snaps and the tolerances will remain tight with time. Calatrava cross on the locking clamshell, that is the symbol of the brand. You can see it several times on the watch, including on the crown. The case is quite complex. As you can see, it's three-piece, case back, mid-case, and bezel layered together with the clamps or the wings outboard. It's a screw-down crown. It is a 60-meter water resistance because of some of the through-case fittings, which with a screw-down crown is suitable for surface swimming, not deep submergence, but this is a swimmable watch. Now, the simple number of features, facets, details, and parts involved in making the Nautilus case help to explain why the Nautilus price point is higher than the Aquanaut. There's just more detailing going on here, as well as more individual case components comprising the whole. We have a rounded polygon for the bezel. That's very similar to the Royal Oak. Unlike the Royal Oak, though, with the Nautilus, Genta went a little bit further with the inner bezel, the sapphire, and then the dial all the same shape as the outer bezel, whereas on a Royal Oak, inboard it's all symmetrically round. Now we have the lateral striations that have been present on the Nautilus since the original 3700. Here in a lovely metallic blue, we have ajourage, or a concentric pattern for the sunken sub-registers. We have constant seconds, and we have coaxial date as well as moon phase, and a power reserve scale, 48 hours of automatic winding power reserve, white gold hands, white gold indices, the better to resist tarnish, oxidation, and discoloration over time. Let's do a quick loom shot. And now you can see that this is a tried and true sports watch. Steel case, steel bracelet, water resistant, automatic, and well loomed. We'll flip it over now, take a look at what lies beneath. And what lies beneath is the long-running caliber 240. Everything looks backward through a camera. Caliber 240 came out in 1977, and since then the micro-rotor automatics have been the more upscale of the two fundamental families of Patek autos. Aside from a brief interlude by the peripheral rotor caliber 350, it's always been the center rotors and the micro-rotors, and the micro-rotors are more premium. That's why you see them in the 5712, as well as many of the grand complications and perpetual calendars. So you have the micro-rotor, which ensures this watch can be as thin as a manual, and it gives you the unobstructed case-back view of a manual. but 48-hour power reserve, automatic winding with ceramic bearings, 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate, pivots on 29 jewels adjusted in 6 positions. It's a free-sprung Patek Gyromax style balance with an anti-magnetic Patek Spiromax silicone hairspring. All of the finish is world-class, though generally started by mechanical means. Patek movements are always executed in their final finish by the hands of masters, which is why, for example, in an Audemars Piguet automatic, you'll have ugly machined bevels with the milling marks to prove it. And while these bevels are started mechanically, they are finished manually, which is why they are bright, luminous, and rounded. We have Côte de Genève across the bridges. We have beveling on the edge of bridges as well as in the jewel and screw sinks. We have black polished screw heads with chamfered slots and chamfered circumference. We have engine turning in several sizes across the base plates and satination on the wheels. Altogether, a truly good-looking movement for an all-time great watch. And it's not another 5711. The Moon Phase is far less common and, I dare say, a bit more practical. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.